This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Hello. It is me, your true heel phenom, SP3. We are back again for a special recap of the Jay Briscoe Celebration of Life tribute show, which dropped this week on the Ring of Honor YouTube page as well as Honor Club. I am here with one of my favorites, one of your favorites from the contributors here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. You see her on the watch along. She's here with me now. It's Wendyyyy. How are you doing?
Hi everybody. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm getting myself composed. This is probably going to be kind of the final time that I have to, talk about anything with Jay Briscoe in recent memory. I did the whole Remembering Jay Briscoe video on our YouTube channel. We did True Heel Heat 209 with all of the super chats going to the Pew family, talking more about it as well there. Had to talk about it as well with AE Ramble this week with Mark Briscoe making his AEW Dynamite review, and now we got this tribute show. But Wendyyyy, we haven't really heard too much from you since the passing of Jay Briscoe. I know you told me before we started recording here, but let the people know kind of what was your reaction to finding out Jay Briscoe passed away last week, January 17th.
Oh man. So first hearing that Jay Briscoe passed away, at first I thought it was like a sick joke. I thought it wasn't real. I didn't believe it at first. I'm like, what? No. Like, I didn't believe it. And because you never know, with people putting out a story and you don't know at first, you don't know. So it wasn't until reading the articles and then seeing the tweet by Tony Khan, that's when it hit me. I'm like, oh, this is not a sick joke. It did happen. And it's very unfortunate. He was young. And what made it very worse was the fact like his daughters was involved in the accident. I'm like, oh no, like, it hits you really bad. And so I was, I was very, it sucks. To be honest, it sucks because it's up there with, when we lost Eddie Guerrero, when we lost Brody, it's up there. It's like, damn, like we lost like a really good wrestler, a good person. From what wrestlers have said, he was a really good person. He was a really nice guy, great. He was all about family. And, it's very unfortunate that, we lost someone real special.
Yes, it's a tragic loss in the wrestling community, not just because, Jay Briscoe, a great tag team wrestler, a great brawler, a great promo guy, a great singles competitor, not just what he did in wrestling, but the impact that he left on so many people. And we saw it throughout this tribute show with the testimonials as well as in-ring promos from a bunch of the talent. So let's talk about it. And then you guys, of course, if you're watching this for the premiere or on demand, let us know in the comments below kind of your favorite Jay Briscoe memory, promo, match. Let us know, sound off. And of course, we will, reply to you and we can talk about it some more and let it all out, because this is a safe space here where we can talk about how we're feeling with losing such an important part of my wrestling kind of background. Like, watching this show gave me so many different memories, and I'll talk about it as well. But the show started with the video package that we saw on AEW Dynamite this week, and we actually got to see the producer who made the video, Zane Decker. Zane Decker was a former producer for Ring of Honor as well as AEW. We see pictures of the Briscoes when they were young, when they were just kids. We saw pictures pictures of Jay's family, his daughters, his son, his wife, their dog, being all dressed in the same pajamas, him and his daughter doing the little cheerleading routine. Oh man, like what was your thoughts on that video package? I thought it was so well done.
Oh, I agree. Like, I agree. It was really well done. It was sad, like looking at the photos, and it's just like, oh man, it hits you. Like it hits it hits you. It's like, it kind of feels like, it kind of feels like you're losing a family member. For people that know what it feels like to lose a family, because me, I lost somebody. I lost my dad. So I understand how them girls is feeling losing their father. Like I lost my father. So seeing the pictures, I'm like, oh man. It's hard not to cry about it, but it was well done. Well done.
And definitely, I relate with them as well as you. I lost my father just 3 years ago, so yeah, it always gets you by surprise, no matter what was the lead up to it or not. When you lose a parent, it's a lot. And seeing his daughter being like, "My daddy's crazy, but I love my daddy," that was like, you hit me in the heartstrings thinking about my daughter and stuff. So, but the first matchup that they showed for the tribute show was for the ROH Pure Championship. It was Willie Yuda versus Hanji Shino. Shino, this is my first time seeing him. I know he had a match that got like a lot of praise with Kenny Omega on AEW Dark, and he showed a lot here, more of like the forearms and his technical ability, since this was a pure wrestling rules match. But Willie Yuda with the Blackpool Combat Club training, he hits a big move, gets a near fall, and then immediately starts raining down the elbows as Bryan Danielson would do, and then locks on this unique version of a crossface to get the win in just over 9 minutes. I thought this was a really well wrestled matchup to kind of kick off the in-ring portion of this tribute show. What did you think?
I agree. It was really good. It was technical. He used his training from Blackpool combat. He used, similar to Bryan Danielson, what he does. And, I feel like they both did a good job in regards to opening the show.
Yeah. I think they did it in the right way with pure rules, which is a ROH staple. Then we got our first testimonial, and we talked about this before we started recording. This was the one that kind of got to me probably the most, is seeing the tough as nails Samoa Joe. Immediately when the camera is on him, his eyes are just full of tears. His face is welled up, tears running down his face, talking about how much he loves Jay Briscoe, talking about meeting Jay Briscoe when he was just a young, wild, crazy kid, and then him growing into this family man with his kids and stuff. Man, this hit me. What about you with Samoa Joe's testimonial here?
Oh, geez. When I saw that, I literally was like, as soon as he popped up on the screen and like I saw like he already had tears, he's trying so hard not to cry. I'm like, no, I literally was just like, no, why is this hitting me? Like, why? I was like, no, like, but I can understand like how it hits somebody that has known Jay Briscoe for so many years, has worked, has been part of ROH and known him not just as a wrestler but also as a person. It's like it hits you. It's one of the, I would say, one of the toughest testimonials I've seen. Like it was, you can tell in his eyes, you can tell like his heart is broken. He's not, he still can't believe it. Like other wrestlers have spoken about Jay Briscoe, like it hasn't, they're still in shock.
And
You know,
it must be tough for like Joe because he had his time where he was away from Jay, going to like WWE and stuff, and then
hmm
he comes back, comes back to Ring of Honor and AEW and gets to work with Jay again and see his friend again, and then just has it taken away. So yeah, you
hmm
could tell Joe took it very hard. The shock of everything,
hmm
it will get anybody. We also got a back-to-back testimonials, as we heard from Adam Cole, and I love Adam Cole kind of telling the story because I remember the early days of Adam Cole's career in Ring of Honor. A bright-eyed kid who came in, and he said like Jay was one of the nicest people to him, and the rivalry that they had that really put Adam Cole on the map as a main eventer in Ring of Honor, but also talking about kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff and going to the Briscoe household and being treated like he was family when he would go to their house on opening day of the football season every year and stuff like that. But did you think about what Adam Cole had to say? He's another guy that kind of fought back the tears, kept his composure, but you could tell he was getting emotional as well.
Right. Yeah. Adam is another one of those testimonials that it hit, it it hit your heartstrings as well. Seeing how Jay, like how he said that Jay helped him, bringing that Adam Cole character, and their rivalry, their match that they had was that made Adam Cole who he is, was it was it was really, it was really good. Like, it was really sad. And talking about the, like you said, like when he spoke about the behind the scenes, how, he went to their house and they made him feel welcome and stuff like that. It's it was really good. I would say it was really good. And then watching their rivalry, their match that they had, I'm like, whoo, it just made me like think like, damn, like I wish I can go back in time and start watching Ring of Honor, because I will say, me personally, I would say it right here now, I was the WWE fan. I was the WWE fan. It was only WWE 24/7 hardcore. And then I started venturing to other wrestling promotions. That's when I started watching TNA. And that's how I found out about Samoa Joe and AJ Styles and Daniels. And then, it wasn't, I casually would hear Ring of Honor, but I didn't really go into Ring of Honor. I think the only thing I watched was when Kevin Owens had a battle with Davey Richards for the title. And then I would hear Briscoes, and I saw their video package, their promos, and I'm like, whoa, who are these guys? They're tough, they're real, and I didn't delve into them until I got into a relationship with my fiance now, who, if y'all don't know, is True Draw Josh. And he brought me back into Ring of Honor, and we went to the live shows. So we went to Final Battle and we saw their matches, and it just brought back like, wow, not only do they say what they say, like they show it in the ring, and they're good wrestlers. Not only they're brawlers, but they're good wrestlers. They're great wrestlers. And, just like you, we actually sat next to their family, which, fun fact, like we sat next to their, his mom. And I was just like, wow, like you can see from their authenticity. How do you say that word?
Authenticity.
Well, yes, there you go. You can see like it comes off, and you can see the passion that they have, and and it's like, whoa, like I wish I can go back in time and start watching Ring of Honor. Just know like the magic that both him and his brother have in the ring.
Yeah, we'll get to the matchup that I was first kind of introduced to seeing the Briscoes live. I had seen the stuff on DVDs and highlights of them, but the first match that I ever saw live of the Briscoes was on this tribute show. But they did show another match I was there live for in 2014, which was the culmination of the 18-month rivalry between Jay Briscoe and Adam Cole. Basically, this rivalry started off with Jay being the Ring of Honor World Champion, but he suffered an injury thanks to a gore from Rhino that tore his shoulder, and Ring of Honor wanted him to relinquish the title. They did a tournament to decide the new champion, with Adam Cole defeating Michael Elgin at Death Before Dishonor in 2013, and the whole build up to it was Jay's family kind of telling him he has to give up the championship if whoever wins the title, if they win it like a man, go out there, shake their hand, and hand them over the championship. And they have a great video package that's actually on the Ring of Honor YouTube page where you could talk, where they show that night at Death Before Dishonor, where Mark is trying to convince Jay to give up the title, but Jay's being stubborn, saying, I don't want to give it up. And it's not until one of his greatest rivals, Kevin Steen, tells him that your dad is right, that if they win it like a man, you shake their hand, you give up the title, and you do it like a man. And then we see Adam Cole win, and then he hands him the title, and then Jay shakes his hand, he turns around, and Adam Cole kicks him in the back of the head, and that was the first time the crowd that Adam Cole ever said, Adam Cole, baby, and he turned heel for the first time. They had a triple threat with Michael Elgin at Final Battle 2013 that I was there live for. Then in New Orleans in 2014 WrestleMania weekend, they had a ladder war where Adam Cole defeated Jay Briscoe, defending the Ring of Honor World Championship. Then Adam Cole lost the Ring of Honor World Championship to Michael Elgin, but Jay Briscoe beat Michael Elgin for the championship. And then turn around Final Battle 2014. It's this match, the Fight Without Honor. I actually took a picture of myself sitting on the balcony floor at Terminal 5 at the show. I spotted myself. But this one was a wild brawl with Jay Briscoe getting a win with the Jay Driller on top of the Ring of Honor World Championship. As a new fan, what did you think about this match? If this was this the first time watching this one?
Yeah, it was. It was. I'm like, ooh. Like when I saw the that clip where he had to shake the winner's hand, and he gave him the title. He gave Adam the title, and then Adam just came around and kicked him in the back of the head. At first, I was just like, oh, of course. That's so Adam. I was like, that's so Adam Cole. I didn't know that was the first time like he turned heel.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, like, oh, that's typical Adam. But watching the match itself, I'm like, ooh, like it just makes me want to like, damn, I wish I was there live to watch it, you know, because I wish I was in the audience just watching it and just seeing like, wow, this is crazy. But yeah, as a new fan, like watching it for the first time, I'm like you can see they have chemistry. Like any wrestler that Jay had, you can see the chemistry between them, and it makes a great match because it's like Jay is not just a brawler, he's a technical, he can also get technical with you, so it's like he has all the traits of being a really good wrestler, and he does the high flying, so he has the whole package. And seeing Adam, you know, him going against Adam and the story, it's like, oh man, I wish I was there live. You're lucky. I wish I was there. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
This is, in my opinion, one of Jay Briscoe's probably best singles feud that he ever had, probably between this one and the Jay Lethal feud. But this one has like the staples to the head. You get the thumbtack spot with the multicolored thumbtack, with Adam Cole shoving the thumbtacks into Jay's mouth and then super kicking him at one point. Both guys are. Yeah, those were thumbtacks that he put into his mouth. I thought there was
like some. I thought they were like colored glass or something.
No, colored thumbtacks that he put into his mouth and then super kicked them.
Okay.
Both guys get driven through tables, and then finally Jay Briscoe getting the win with the Jay Driller on top of the Ring of Honor World Championship. Fight Without Honor, definitely a one to go out your way to see. But then we had Adam Cole back live in Fresno, speaking to the fans, talking about his love for Jay Briscoe and how much he meant and how, you know, great of a family man he was and everything that he learned from him. I thought Adam Cole, you know, between the testimony and then this promo, I think he did a good job of kind of expressing how much Jay Briscoe meant to him and meant to his career and really put him at another level in their rivalry from 2013 through 2014. Then we got another testimony from Matt Hardy, and I didn't know Matt Hardy and him were as good friends as Matt Hardy described, talking about how they text each other, talked about, you know, each other's kids. He also talked about how intimidating it was to stand across the ring from Jay Briscoe and how tough that he could, you know, look. But then when he went backstage, he was kind of like the nicest guy, always had a smile on his face as Prince goes wild in the background. Wendy, move it. No, but what did you think about Matt Hardy's kind of testimony, talking about his love for Jay Briscoe and being a family man just like him?
To be honest, that was surprising. Like, I agree. Like, that was a surprising testimony, because I didn't, like you, I didn't know him and Matt were really good. Like, we're really good friends. But you know, I can understand the fact, like, they both had a lot of things in common. They're both fathers. They've been around the business for so long. So I thought that testimony was really good. You know, I was surprised though. I don't think anybody expected Matt Hardy to be the one to do a testimonial on Jay Briscoe, but hearing what he was saying about him and saying, like, you know, they had a lot of things in common. They're both fathers. They've been around the business for so long, and they, you know, like, how they got along real well. I'm like, wow. I thought he did. It was well done. I enjoyed that one.
And part of two of the greatest brother tag teams of all time with the Hardys and the Briscoes as well. Next, we had another matchup with Marina Shaffir going against Mighty Myra. Marina Shaffir was visibly kind of emotional in this one, had tears, her face welling up even before the matchup. And I loved commentary. Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman talking about not being afraid to talk about the fact that Marina Shaffir is the wife of Roderick Strong, and Roderick Strong having such a close relationship with both Briscoe brothers, but especially, you know, Jay, and how, you know, much this meant to her. All of that was standing. This was not a good match. I will just say that. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I gotta be real here, and I know, you know, she was probably emotional, and maybe that affected the matchup. But this was not a good match. So, any thoughts, Wendy?
So okay, so her being on the show didn't surprise me, just because of the relation, you know, due to her husband, Roderick Strong, and obviously he's not there. He's in WWE, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's still in WWE. He hasn't come back yet since being attacked back in September, but he still works for WWE.
Okay, so so the fact that, you know, Roderick, he's still in WWE. Obviously, Roderick would love to have been there and, you know, been part of the tribute, but because he can't, you know, his wife is gonna, you know, do it kind of like in a way, like, do it for Roderick, because obviously Roderick would have loved to have done it, but also, you know, she wanted to pay her respects and be part of a tribute show. And you can tell, like, when she came in, you can see, like, her face was red. Like, she was not like, you can tell she wasn't, like, emotionally ready to, like, you know, be in a fight, but she tried to, like, hold her tears and, you know, just go along with it. But other than that, I agree, the match was
and the crowd didn't help. The crowd was getting on
it didn't help at all.
It didn't help at all. She got the win with, like, an arm submission that looked good, but like you said, wasn't the best match here.
Yeah.
Then we had a Christopher Daniels portion of the show with Daniels with a testimony, very much getting emotional, talking about meeting Jay from the first Ring of Honor show, and talking about his different stints with Ring of Honor, but talking about how Jay was kind of the embodiment and represented it so well, and getting to know his family, learning that he's such a a genuine person, such a family guy. And then back to back, we got, after the testimony, a classic match from Survival of the Fittest 2016 with Jay Briscoe defeating Christopher Daniels with the Jay Driller. So what did you think about Daniels' testimony and then the match from 2016?
Oh man. Daniels, oh man. Christopher, he's another one, with Joe and Adam, that it kind of like it hits you too. Hearing him talk about how, he wasn't really, he was in Ring of Honor from the beginning. And then the fact, like, he said, like, he wasn't really there as much, because he went to TNA and, he was going back and forth and stuff, and how he kind of wish he was there a lot more, just to get the time that he has with Jay and Mark and whatnot. And
he really touched me when he said, like, when he
yeah.
talked about the family and saying, like, we're sorry we took him away from you, but
yes,
he cherished it all the times that they had together. That was the part that really got to me.
Yes, I agree. That part was like, oh man, because that's like every, that's like every wrestler. That's the life of a wrestler. You're traveling so many places. You're away from your family, and then when a tragedy happens, it's like, oh, it's like, like you feel guilty of like taking somebody, from their family and whatnot. So it sucks. But yeah, I thought it was well done. Like, I liked his testimony. I know, like, he couldn't hold his tears. You can tell, like, as he kept talking, the tears was like coming out, and he was trying to hold it together. But yeah, I liked his testimony. It's very, very sad.
And what about the matchup from Survival of the Fittest 2016?
Oh damn! Like, his matchup with Jay. Oh man, it's like every match that Jay had is like, what? To be honest, it gets me mad. It gets me a little upset, because I'm like, damn, I should have watched Ring of Honor. I should have watched Ring of Honor. I should have watched Ring of Honor when it, damn. It gets me upset, because I'm like, crap, like, all these great matches you see on Ring of Honor and his matches, for sure. I'm like, damn, why didn't I not watch Ring of Honor? What's wrong with me? But anywho, that was a really good match. Him and Daniels, it was a really good match. I enjoyed it.
This was, out of the 3 classic matches that they showed, I think this was the only one that I'd never seen before. I believe this was like in probably like the Midwest, but I thought it was like very competitive. It went about 14 minutes. Jay Briscoe getting the win with the Jay Driller on Christopher Daniels. I did like the commentary with Alex Shelley on the call, talking about how Daniels was still recovering from the ladder war, the classic ladder war between the Motor City Machine Guns, Addiction, and the Young Bucks back in 2016 as well. So I thought that was a nice little touch as well. But this one was the testimonial that got to me the most, besides Samoa Joe, Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston, who has the gift of gab, just outright saying, he doesn't know what to say. He was so sad, talking about his love for Jay and trying to, bring some positivity, saying like, now that you're up there, maybe you can hope your Raiders win some more. And Jay, I mean, the way he ended it was the thing that kind of hit my heart the most, talking about, Jay, we love you, we miss you, and tell Sweeney I said hello, and tell Brody I said what's up. I was like, oh, just bringing up all the people that I saw growing up in Ring of Honor when I was just a teenager and grown into my 20s watching Ring of Honor. Larry Sweeney, one of the most entertaining managers at that time, and Brody Lee, who I first saw in Ring of Honor, and then WWE, and then AEW, and then to lose Jay as well. That one, man, Eddie hit me right in the heart. What about you?
Oh gosh, when Eddie, you honestly, when they showed Eddie, it just, you can tell he didn't want to, like, he did not, you can tell, like, he was just like, he's one of the persons that was still in shock. Like, you can tell from his face, like, he's still in shock. He still can't believe it. He's, it's like, I'm still dreaming, wake me up from this nightmare, type of thing. Eddie's testimony was like, I agree. It was hard. It was hard when he was talking about, Jay, and it was really hard. And I'm like, I was just like, I was trying to hold my tears watching it, because I'm like, damn. Like, it was very emotional. And what you said, same as what you said before, like, when he spoke about the other wrestlers who are not here, it was just like, oh, why? But he was trying to, the thing about with Eddie is, like, he was trying to, like, he was trying to say things that, that was trying to, like, make him not cry. So, like, when he brought up the whole Raiders joke, like, it was just like, oh, like, like, trying to, like, kind of bring something positive to it in a way.
And I liked him saying, like, you can either do good and live on his legacy, or you could do bad because of how you're feeling and how horrible it feels to lose someone like that. And he said he's going to choose to do good. That really hit me, because that is like kind of always the choice when you lose someone close.
Exactly. Because, like, when you lose somebody, you can, the way you grieve, you can grieve it in different ways. You can grieve it in the negative way, where you can, you can block block what happened, and you can do it by, doing drugs, drinking, hurting yourself, harming yourself. And or you can do it in the positive way. You can go on the positive route, and you're grieving, but you're doing things that can prevent you from going to that negative route. You can do good. And to me, I agree. I think that was very smart, not smart, but I think that was really good of Eddie to say, because everybody's hurting. You lose somebody, it feels like you lost one of your own. And he kind of, like, put in a reminder, like, hey, like, we are all grieving, but kind of saying, you can grieve two different ways, but I choose to go the right way. I choose to go on the positive route instead of going to the negative route. And I think that was really good of Eddie to bring up.
Very, very much showing his wisdom there with that little tidbit. Then we got Eddie in the ring against QT Marshall. I thought this was a brilliant piece of booking to have just QT Marshall, who could play up being a heel against such a crowd favorite in Eddie Kingston. I love the chops on the outside with the fans holding him, and then QT reversing it and asking the fans to hold him, and the fans say no. then the little kid holding on to QT, and he gets chopped, and then QT got a little bit of heat after he lowboat Eddie using the ring ropes, but eventually Eddie reverses the diamond cutter. He hits the Ardugan, the spinning back fist, and then he locks on the stretch plum for the win, takes off the armband after the match, kisses it. He's getting Eddie chants, and he puts up the Jay armband, and he's like, yeah, cheer for Jay. And then he gets the sign that says Jay Briscoe forever, reach for the sky, boy. What did you think about this matchup here? I thought it was very much a fun match.
Yeah, I agree. It was fun. Like you have like the heel and QT Marshall, he claims he is the Ring of Honor icon. I thought that was genius.
That was.
And I thought that was genius. And the match was fun. It was good. I love like the audience, they played into it with the audience. Another thing that I thought was really cool was in commentary where they said, Eddie can be like, Eddie can be like the law, not the loss, but he could be like another Briscoe. Like he
Yeah, they would
fits
call him
right
Eddie
in.
Briscoe at the beginning.
Yes,
Yeah.
they called him Eddie Briscoe, and they were saying like, he fits right in, and I agree. Like, seeing how he is, how he wrestles, the promos and stuff. Like, to me, I'm like, wow, like he could be a Briscoe. Like he could be a
True.
Briscoe. He fits right in with how they are and how their character is, and the promo works. Like, I thought that was really cool of commentary saying that, like he could be a Briscoe.
Yeah.
I
And
thought it was really cool.
I like commentary touching on how both men had, some experience against Jay in Ring of Honor, whether it be Eddie Kingston with Homicide of the Outlaws Inc. having brawls with the Briscoes, and then QT debuting against the Briscoes all those
Mm-hmm.
years ago. So I like them touching on those two, having that history with Jay. Then we got more testimonials, and this one, in my opinion, was the most surprising. Austin
Yes.
Gunn. I have never seen Austin Gunn in this light ever before, talking about how he was a trainee at the Ring of Honor dojo back in 2018, and after the latter war with the Young Bucks and SCU, Jay had the big gash in his back, because I was there. I remember that, where he had the big gash from the table spot in his back, and how he rushed to the back, and the paramedics was like, "Hey, dude, I'm off the clock," and he had to get a care package with like solution and butterfly stitching, and he had to approach Jay, and he was very intimidated because the Briscoes were these top guys, and he basically asked them, he was like, "Yeah, the medics are gone, but what I'm gonna do is butterfly stitch you before you can see a doctor." And Jay's like, "Hey, but I got a flight in 2 hours, I'll be all right." And he had to ask him 5 times, and he eventually does it, and talking about being in the locker room for 2 hours doing that, and talking to Jay and Mark, telling them who his dad was, talking about family, and then he would see him a week later, and he gave him a big hug and told him that was his doctor said that was the best butterfly stitching he ever seen, and talking about how the last time he saw him was at Final Battle 2022 after the double dog collar matchup, and how he gave him a big hug and called them the ass boys, and Austin saying that was the first time that anyone called him the ass boys, and he was totally fine with it. I have never seen Austin Gunn in this light. He just seemed so much more likable than he usually does. What did you think?
Agree. Like, seeing him was like kind of like a random moment. Like, wait, what? Like, what's he doing here? Like, how does he know Jay Briscoe and stuff? But when he talked about the story, like, how he started, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I'm like, that makes sense as to why he's doing a testimony on him. Like, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I agree. It makes him a lot more likable. He definitely probably has experience in the medical field because, for him to do the butterfly stitch and have the doctors be like, "Hey, that was the best butterfly stitch I ever seen." I'm like, wow, he must have some type of experience in the medical field and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. I thought, like you said, it makes him more likable. It was funny when he said that that Jay called them the ass boys, and he was fine. He's like, "Hey, no one else can call us ass boys except for the Briscoes. I'm fine with that." I thought that was really cool. Makes him very more likable. Makes it kind of also makes fans look at him different and see like his story and his history in wrestling and how he started wrestling. Like, it makes kind of puts him in a different light in a way. Because obviously, like, him as like he's Billy Gunn's son, and people would say, "Oh, he probably came up because of his dad," and and stuff like that. So when people would hear like, "Hey, he was in the Ring of Honor dojo," it's like, whoa, that's a whole different story. That's a different light to him. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, this was the one that kind of surprised me the most out of all the
Hmm.
testimonies. We didn't get two more testimonies. First with Ryan Nemeth talking about how he got started in wrestling in OVW and how he just wanted to get into wrestling so he could travel up and down the road with his brother, and then meeting the Briscoes when Ring of Honor started doing TV tapings in Ohio Valley Wrestling, and how Jay was, he was so intimidated by the Briscoes, but he was such one of the nicest persons and made him realize that this wrestling thing, he can be all right in it and he can be accepted because Jay Briscoe accepted him. Then we had Stokely Hathaway, who was also very emotional, talking about his start in Ring of Honor back in 2013, being a part of the Ring crew, and how Jay was one of the first people who kind of also made him feel like accepted and made him realize that he can make something in the wrestling business. What did you think about these two pair of testimonials with Ryan Nemeth and Stokely?
So with Ryan, I there is a saying, you can't judge a book by its cover. And granted, you see the Briscoes and you see them and you're like, oh, they're these tough guys, like they're not about it. They are intimidating. You see them, they're intimidating. You fear that they definitely would kick your ass and stuff. But the fact, like, him getting to know them and saying like they're the nicest guys, it's like, wow. It's like the opposite of what you expect. And I can honestly say, like, with Ryan, like he inspired it's like the Briscoes kind of like inspired him to, it's like, okay, I can do this. I can be a wrestler. I want to, like, my dream is to travel with my brother, because for all people that don't know, his brother is Dolph Ziggler, and that's what he wants. That's his dream. His goal is to travel wrestling with his brother and stuff like that. And seeing, like, the Briscoes, their brothers, and they're wrestling and their top guys, it's like, okay, like it kind of gave him that fire, like, hey, I can do this. I can be a wrestler. I can reach it. I can achieve my goals to where I can, to the point where I can literally make my wish come true, which is traveling with my brother and stuff. Briscoes are, they became like an inspiration to him.
Yeah.
And whatnot. With Stokely, he's one of those other people where he tried, it's hard. You can tell he was trying not to cry as well. Like, you can tell he was trying not to cry. And I love the fact that in all the testimonies, how, Jay and Mark as well, can't leave out Mark Briscoe, like they were, they're the nicest guys, and they helped these different people get to where they are in wrestling. And you don't expect them to be the ones to help you in becoming wrestlers and being in the wrestling business. And the fact, like, you hear all these people say, like, oh, like they were the one that helped me to get where I'm at. They were the reasons why I'm still in this business. And they're just amazing. Jay, Mark,
Truly.
they're amazing guys.
Truly
They're
special. They're
very
they're
special.
definitely special individuals, and you could tell from all the testimonies that we got throughout the show. Next we had a in-ring matchup again. This time it was the ROH Women's
Hmm.
World Champion Athena going up against Madison Rayne in a proving ground matchup. If Madison Rayne reached the time limit or beat Athena, she would get a shot at the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Madison Rayne coming out with Sky Blue. Athena, this was a competitive matchup. Madison Rayne got a lot of offense in, but Athena in the end hits our gut wrench into the double knees for the victory, and then healing it up even more after the matchup, nailing Sky Blue with the ROH Women's World Championship. I'm loving this new Athena character, and this was just another further example of it in this matchup. What did you think about the two ladies here?
Oh, I think they did great. Athena, playing up with her heel persona. I think, like, she took it up a notch. It's another layer of her character. Like, everyone's so used to her being the baby face and whatnot, but she took it up to the notch to where she can, like, she proves to everybody, like, hey, I can be a heel, and I'll show you I can be a heel. This ain't like I'll show you with my wrestling, like with my character.
I feel like she's a much better heel than she was a babyface. She like
I agree. Yeah. Like, and I think that's what she wanted. Like she wanted to be a heel. It's like, hey, like I could do babyface and whatnot, but there's another side of me. I can be that heel character, you know. So she's great. I like her character now. I mean, I loved her in as a babyface too, but this is another level of Athena. Madison Rayne, of course, the professional. She's great. You know, they both did a good job. They both did a great job. What I would say is the end, like after the match was over and she hit Sky Blue with the belt. Did it hit Sky Blue?
I don't know. There was a lot of room between the title and Sky Blue.
Yeah, because like watching it didn't seem like it hit her. It just seemed like it was going to hit her, and then she just like fell back. So I don't know
if she was trying to avoid it or Athena didn't get it in all the way. I don't know. It was weird.
That was a little weird. That was a weird spot. I don't know. Maybe from how it looked from the camera angle, maybe it probably looked like that, but who knows if she really hit her. But other than that, I thought it was a really good competitive match.
Yeah, they did well here. Next, we had another pair of testimonials. First from BJ Whitmer, talking about his long history, knowing the Briscoes since coming into Ring of Honor all the way back in like 2003, meeting the family and being so close with them. Then we had one of the better ones that I thought was Zane Decker, which was the producer who used to be in Ring of Honor, and talking about how, you know, Jay, one day he was like backstage, they were watching a matchup, and how multiple people like offered him a chair, like Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, but it was Jay Briscoe who was like, "Nah, boy, you take my chair here, you sit up here." When he decided he wanted to sit on the ground, it was Jay that made him sit in the chair, and how Jay made him feel so accepted. Just a few years into the business, he would listen to his input and actually made him believe in himself in the industry, and, you know, getting to, you know, meet his family and just seeing how loyal and how much love he had for his family and being a man of faith. I thought Zane did an excellent job kind of expressing that in just a couple of years, Jay made such an impact on his life. So what did you think about BJ Whitmer and Zane Decker's testimonies?
I think they were both great. Their testimonies was great. You know, when you hear about Jay Briscoe and Mark, it comes off like, you know, he's like one of your friends. It's like he's very relatable. Him and his brother and the family. It's like, you know, that's like they're your friends, or, you know, his family is your family. So the impact that they have done for both these guys, it's really, you know, it's good. I agree, like the producer and how he felt like, you know, Jay changed his life, and, you know, made him feel made him feel good, and made him feel like what he's doing is good, and building him up, and, you know, like giving him that confidence of, yeah, like I could do this, like, and it's just it makes me happy how him and his brother have changed people's, you know, have changed people in the wrestling business and wrestling in general.
Yeah, they made just a big impact on professional wrestling overall, and all these testimonies kind of just express like how much of an impact they made on people's lives as well.
Yeah.
We went back to the ring in Fresno and had, in my opinion, the match that exceeded my expectations the most, which was Juice Robinson versus Brandon Cutler. Brandon Cutler at first, I don't know how he's wrestling in this tracksuit, but he was having issues with it, pulling up his pants at certain points. But once he does the airplane spin and the crowd really gets into this matchup, I thought it really overachieved. We get the cold spray spot where Juice is about to use the cold spray after he used it earlier in the matchup, but the referee takes it away from him, Aubrey Edwards. So then Brandon sprays him with the cold spray and gets a very close near fall, but Juice finally puts him away with the cannonball, and then this kind of a variant of the DDT on Brandon Cutler that looked very violent for the win here. Like I said, I thought this exceeded expectation. Very solid affair here. What did you think?
I agree. It did. It was a really good match. It's funny. It's crazy how commentary said like this was like Brandon's. He only had one match in Ring of Honor, if I'm not correct. Like,
yes,
like that's what they said. They said he had only like one match in Ring of Honor. So it's like, oh, okay. Like, oh, wow. Like you would think he had countless matches in Ring of Honor. Yeah, I agree. You know, he was having issues with, with his gear and when Juice sprayed on Brandon first, I'm like, and like he's like, like that. I'm like, don't you have a face thing?
Is that the reason for the face thing?
I'm like, how are you doing this if you have a face? It protects you. So I'm like, that I was just like, what? I didn't get it, but overall. But other than that, it was a really good match. I enjoyed it.
I thought it exceeded expectations, even though it didn't start well with Brandon dealing with his wardrobe malfunctions.
Yeah.
That too.
I was like, what? I didn't get it.
Our second to last testimonial, this time with Prince Nana, dropping the Nigerian accent a little bit and talking in his natural voice, talking about his love for Jay Briscoe, knowing him for year after year, talking about Jay being so happy whenever he see him in the locker room and knew he was booked, talking about his family as my family, his kids are my kids. I thought Prince Nana did a great job of expressing himself here. What did you think?
100% agree with you. 100%. 100%.
That was a good one for someone who's been with Ring of Honor for so many years. Then we got our second to last match in the ring in Fresno with Yuka Sakazaki going up against Sandra Moon. I love Yuka Sakazaki and I love her theme song. Love it every single time. She gets the win with the magical girl splash. Sandra Moon got a little bit of offense, but this was mostly a showcase for Yuka Sakazaki as she's building up for a shot at the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Any thoughts on this one, and what do you think about Yuka Sakazaki having more of an involvement in ROH?
She's so cute. Like she literally reminds me of she calls herself the magical girl, right? So like she kind of reminds me of like a character from those animes. Like she, you know what? She reminds me of a character, not a character, but so the show Yu-Gi-Oh! She reminds me of like the Dark Magician Girl in a way. Like she gives me very dark. She gives me very Dark Magician Girl, and it's not a it's not a shade because I love Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not a shade. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I love the original Yu-Gi-Oh! That's my show. Okay. She gives me very like Dark Magician Girl vibes, and she's so cute. Like she's so cute. She's so adorable. I love the fact that they're building her up to be a challenger for Athena for the ROH Women's Champion. I think that's great. They need to keep building her up. She'll be a really good contender for the title. And she'll be a really good opponent for Athena as well. Because it's like it's the heel and baby face. Like she's super baby face. Fans are behind her. I think it's great. They need to keep building it up. Keep giving her really good matches. And yeah, they need to, They need to continue to build her up as a contender for that title. She's so cute. I love her.
I think her and Athena is gonna rock when they go one-on-one. Yuka Sakazaki also had one of my favorite matches of the year so far with her and Mia Yamashita in TJPW as well for the Princess of Princess Championship. Next, we had our final throwback matchup as they went all the way back to 2006 Ring of Honor Final Battle 2006. My very first independent wrestling show, my very first Ring of Honor show that I ever went to, and I actually took a picture of myself wearing a white do-rag. That's how way back when I was still wearing do-rags back in the day. And it was the Briscoes versus Kings of Wrestling. This one stole the show on this one. You see the old school Chris Hero and Claudio Castanoli. I loved commentary bringing up at that point Claudio was supposed to go to WWE, but I think they reneged on the contract at the time, and it wouldn't be a couple of more years before you saw Larry Sweeney on one of his first shows with Ring of Honor in Chris Hero's corner. The Briscoes getting the win with a shooting star press and leg drop combination. That New York City crowd was so loud. What did you think? Was this your first time watching this matchup here?
Yes, it was. First time seeing Claudio with hair. Like, I was like, whoa, he had hair. Okay, all right. So it wasn't part of the card, if I'm not correct, right? Wasn't it like an impromptu match or something?
Yeah,
like that?
it was basically, I believe it was the Briscoes kind of attacked like this fake like elf and Santa at the beginning of the show, and they made like an open challenge to any tag team, and it was the Kings of Wrestling who accepted it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so it wasn't part of the card. It was a impromptu match, but I oh man, that match was like, wow. And it gets me mad. I'm gonna say it makes me mad. I wish I was there live. Damn, like you are lucky. You're very lucky. I wish I was there live. That crowd was wild. Was wild. It makes you want to wish you was there in person, just being part of that. And oh man, that match was crazy. I liked it.
So much great spots. Cutthroat drivers, Claudio with the European uppercuts, Chris Hero with the big boots and the hard strikes. Man, took me back to a time. It was 17 years ago. Damn, I feel old. Then we had our final testimony and matchup. First, it was Claudio Castanoli talking about his love for Jay Briscoe, talking about the classic match it was the Briscoe family, Papa Briscoe and Mark and Jay versus Claudio, Chris Hero, and Shane Hagador with his wife Sarah Del Rey in his corner. And then it transitioned into the main event for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Claudio Castanoli and former Ring of Honor World Champion Christopher Daniels. I love the story of this matchup with Daniels kind of playing the rope-a-dope, trying to make Claudio kind of tire himself out with it, keep attacking him and just moving at the right time and eventually getting control, getting a couple of submissions and near falls. But Claudio gets the win after the giant swing, and then instead of hitting the neutralizer, he decides to hit the J Driller for the win. Both men embracing after the matchup. I thought this was a beautiful love letter to Jay Briscoe with this matchup. A great way to end the show, and definitely the best match on the show. So what did you think about Claudio's testimony and then the main event here?
Oh, I thought his testimony was beautiful. I thought it was beautiful. And the match itself was like icing on the cake. And I know for a fact Jay is watching them and he's just like, he has a smile on his face watching Claudio do the J Thriller, like, hey, like he was smiling. It was so beautiful. The ending, it was great. And the fact that it ended with two ROH greats. You have Christopher Daniels, ROH from the beginning. He's the OG, one of the OGs of Ring of Honor. And, with the best moonsault ever. And you have Claudio, who is also an ROH great. And having those two to close the show was, I thought it was great. I thought it was the great match to close with two people that have known Jay Briscoe.
Yeah.
I thought it was a beautiful ending. And they embrace each other and stuff like that. Like, I thought it was beautiful. You know, I thought it was really beautiful. I love that.
That was no better way to kind of end the show the way they did. So I think that's the best place for us to end our review or recap here. I'm just gonna say it. 10 out of 10. This was a great tribute show. AEW, Ring of Honor, Tony Khan, they do tribute shows so well in like representing the person and their legacy and giving these performers the opportunity to really express themselves, whether it's in the ring or with their words. I thought this was beautiful. Any final remarks or thoughts on the show?
I think, hold on.
Prince has his final thoughts.
Yeah, he's like, I watched the show too, and you know, he liked it. He's like, I liked it. He's like, he could have been part of the Briscoes too. That's what he's saying.
True. Man up.
Yeah. He represents them boys. He represents them. So I would say that I agree with you. Tony Khan, AEW, they do great tribute shows. They do a really good job doing a tribute show where it's not just, you know, it talks about the person itself and the wrestler, but also in a respectful way to where it doesn't glorify, you know, the loss and whatnot. They do it in a respectful way and they do it right. You know, they do it right. And I love the fact, like, Tony Khan, he, you know, I don't think this is like I don't think this is the only tribute show, if I'm not correct, that they're going to do with Jay Briscoe, if I'm not correct. I think
they said they're going to do something for Supercard of Honor in March, and then the first ROH weekly show is going to be dedicated to Jay as well.
Yeah, so it's not going to be like the only tribute show, but I respect Tony Khan. You can tell, like, he does it right. He does it respectfully, and I enjoy the show. I was gonna say something, and then my mind just went blank.
Prince distracted you.
Yeah, Prince. what the hell, bro? What the? Oh gosh, I lost my brain. Okay. So yeah, I enjoy the show. I love the tribute show. Everybody that was part of that show was amazing. And now I remember. I will say the Briscoes, they, you know how when people talk about loyalty in the wrestling business and stuff like that, they are the definition of loyalty to one company. They were all about Ring of Honor. They are not. They literally said, I think they talked about, I forgot who it was that spoke about it. They were talking about the contracts. And they said that Jay was like, you know, just letting you know, we ain't going nowhere. We staying right here at Ring of Honor. That just shows how he wanted to build Ring of Honor and make it huge. And him and his brother were so loyal to the company. And they are an inspiration. They are one of the best Ring of Honor tag teams. They are one of the greatest tag teams. And they're definitely should be a part of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they are Ring of Honor Hall of Famers.
Hall of Fame. They should be Hall of Fame in general as one of the greatest tag teams. You know, I will Rayne, I didn't know their father wrestled. Their father had a match. Which I was like,
cool. Papa Briscoe with Mark and Jay versus Kings of Wrestling. Yep.
I was like, okay, Papa Briscoe, I see you. I love the show. I'm so sorry that Jay is gone. Just, you know, for all the fans of the Briscoes, you know, he's up there, he's watching you guys. you know, he wouldn't want you guys to go to, you know, cry for him. Like, he wants you guys to just, you know, be happy, keep doing what y'all do, you know, keep respecting the Dem Boys brand. And yeah, that's basically what I would have to say. You know, you are gone too soon, but you're always in everybody's hearts, whether it's wrestling fans, wrestlers, your families. Like, you know, everybody has a little bit of Jay Briscoe in them. That's all I have to say.
Like Mark said, he ain't gone. He's going to live in our hearts. He's going to live in our memories. So, like I said at the top of the show, let us know any memories, your favorite matches, favorite feuds, favorite promos of Jay Briscoe. Let us know in the comments down below. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow live, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, True Hill Heat 210 with special guest Kenny McIntosh of Inside the Ropes. We also tomorrow got the WWE Royal Rumble 2023 watch along. Check out all our Royal Rumble content with the preview as well as our top 10 Royal Rumble matches of all time. Wendy, you'll be on the watch along tomorrow?
Yes, hopefully. Hopefully. And wait, I have one more thing to say. Okay, so I was supposed to say this in the beginning, but I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna give a shout out to my lovely fiance, the True Jaw Josh, because if it wasn't for him, I would have not have gone back to Ring of Honor, watching their shows and seeing the Briscoes live. So thank you, love, for taking me to watch the Briscoes live in person during the 3 times that we saw them live: Final Battle 2017, 2018, and the G1 Supercard at Madison Square Garden. Thank you. Because I would not have seen the magic that the Briscoes have. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Shout out to anyone. If you brought, you know, the Briscoes into any fan's life, you deserve some credit. And thank you so much, Jay Briscoe. And of course, thoughts, prayers, condolences to the Pugh family. Thoughts and prayers to Jay Lee and Gracie. Hopefully they're going to be out of harm's way pretty soon. Yeah. We're getting good news every single day. So keep the good news coming and send your best in the comments down below. For Wendy, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our Jay Briscoe Celebration of Life recap. We are signing off until next time.
We love you, Jay Briscoe.
Love you, Jay. Reach for the sky, boy.
Them boys.